Alright, I hope you're all ready. We've got a lot of music to show you this time around in Elvis Lives Part 3. So I hope everybody's ready to rock out. This is going to be really cool. I hope you enjoy it. One of the first things that we just took a look at was a video that showed us a little bit of the story of Gail Brewer Giorgio and what happened with her book Orion. And we also seen that she received an audio tape, supposedly from 1981. Now, this audio tape had a phone conversation with Elvis Presley. Now, we seen in this video that they did the Voiceprint Test on this tape, and they showed us the results. And the results showed us that yes, this was Elvis Presley talking on the tape. And the only question that was left was, when was the tape made? Or when was it recorded? Now, the second thing that we seen was side 2 of this tape. And we heard Elvis talking about being in hiding and how someday the truth has to come out. Now, it is obvious to me that this tape was recorded after the world was told that Elvis Presley had died. Think about it. If it was recorded before, why would he be in hiding? And what truth would have to come out before the world was told that Elvis had died? Now, another thing that I believe is very important about this tape, and I believe it goes along with all this music that you're going to get to see and hear in this part of Elvis Lives, and that is Elvis talks about recording new music. Now, on this tape, he said they already did one album, and he couldn't believe they actually got it released. And he is also talking about how they're working towards another album. So I believe that this proves, just because we were told that Elvis died, he did not turn his back on rock and roll or the fans. He kept recording new music. He kept putting this out for us. Now, let's take a look at the time period that this tape was supposedly recorded in 1981. What album was out at that time that could be the album that he said they already released? Now, in 1979, only 2 years before this audio tape was supposedly recorded, Sun Records, Elvis's original record company, introduced a new music artist, and they put out his debut album. Now, this singer's name was Orion, and this first LP with Orion's name on it was called Reborn. Now, a year before, Sun Records is claiming that Orion was singing on an album, Duets, that also had Jerry Lee Lewis on the album. But they did not give Orion credit for doing the music on this album. It was only in 1979 that they put out the first album with the name Orion on it. Now, you've seen the cover of this LP, and what we've seen was artwork of what appears to be Elvis Presley wearing a mask, standing over a casket with Elvis Presley with a mask in the casket. Now, like I mentioned in part 2, they did do Voiceprint Test on some of this music by Orion. Now, at that time, They told us that it was not Elvis singing these songs on these records. And I believe they based the results of these Voiceprint tests on the lie that Elvis Presley had died. Now, even though they told us this was not Elvis, they said the man singing on these records had the same vocal cords as Elvis Presley. Now, that is absolutely impossible. No two people in this world have the same vocal cords. But let's pretend for a moment that there is this story they told us was true. And I believe there is no way at all that this could have been true. But for instance, if it was, what's the chances of the one freak of nature, the first time in history that anything like this ever happened? Two men with the exact same vocal cords. This Orion and Elvis Presley. What's the chances of Orion releasing music on Sun Records, Elvis's original record company? I don't believe this is possible, guys. It's not that hard to figure out. Elvis was the one singing these songs on the albums. Now, Orion's career was very mysterious. There were stories, for instance, there was a story about how a fan got on the tour bus and there was two Orions. And one of these guys looked exactly like Elvis Presley. And this guy got up and tried to hide when the fan got on the bus. Now, another story is, during one of Orion's shows, you have Orion in the middle of a show and he's all hot and sweaty. And he steps off to the side of the stage to get a drink of water. But when he returns to the stage, you've got a different guy wearing the same outfit, but this guy looks like he just got there. He is not hot and sweaty. There is no sweat marks on his costume. It's a brand new guy. And he did 3 or 4 songs, and then he stepped to the side of the stage, and the other guy returned and finished the show. But another thing that I want to go over is the record albums and the publicity photos of Orion. Now, when you really start looking at these album covers and some of the different publicity shots, you will see what appears to be 2 different men wearing the mask. Now, I believe that this created a lot of controversy at the time, and the whole world was concentrating on who was wearing the mask. Was Elvis Presley behind the mask? Now, I do not believe that Elvis was one of these men wearing the mask. I do believe at the time when the whole world was concentrating on Orion and who was wearing the mask, that Elvis was across the country performing live as an Elvis impersonator, Johnny Hara. And I'm going to go over this a little bit in the next part of Elvis Lives, part 4. But I do believe that the people, all the fans, everybody that was paying attention to Orion at this time and trying to figure out if Elvis was behind the mask, I believe they should have been paying more attention to who was singing these songs on the record. Now what I want to do is, I've got an interview from 1981 in Holland with Jimmy Ellis that I'm going to play for you next. But I want you to pay attention to a few things in this interview. At one point, he refers to the voice singing these songs on these albums as the voice. He don't talk like it's him on the record. And the guy interviewing him at one point asked if it was Elvis singing on the records. And Orion shies away and does not answer. And he avoids this question and changes the subject. Another thing is, he is very mysterious about who is involved with making these records and who is the musicians playing on the records. So here it is, this interview with Jimmy Ellis in Holland in 1981.
Now this song is not what you may think it is, but it's the way I feel inside. I've never seen so many imitators come to life since the day Elvis Presley died. I personally think they've done him wrong, and that's the reason why. When they ask me what I think, I give them this reply. Well, I'm not trying to be just like Elvis. I'm doing my best to make it over my own. In the dressing room with Orion, why a mask?
Well, it's a trademark. It's the same purpose as the paint that Kiss wears on their faces, or Elton John wore big glasses. Minnie Pearl, she wears a hat with a price tag hanging off the back.
So it's not to hide, just to hide your face.
No, that's a trademark. Plus, it's also gives me some privacy when I'm off stage.
Yeah.
You know, I can go off stage and go shopping, and no one really knows who I am.
A lot of people think you're Jimmy Ellis.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Because your voice sounds just like his, and he disappeared when you came releasing records.
I don't know when he disappeared because I've never met him.
Okay. They say you sound like Elvis. How do you think about that? I think you do.
Well, did you like it?
Yes, I like your show. I have all your records.
Well, that's the only thing that counts.
Yes,
That's all that matters.
there's only one problem, that they're not released in Holland yet. So
Well,
we have to get them from America.
Maybe if you'll get after them, they'll release them in Holland pretty soon.
Yes.
That's the reason we're over here. So, you know, hopefully we can accumulate some fans and some interest in Holland.
Can you tell me how long it takes before you have an album finished?
You mean a new album?
Well, any album.
Oh, about 2 days.
2 days.
You know, I mean, we work on it steady for 2 days, but over a period of a month or so, because we've got so many things to do, we go back and mix it and do different things to it.
Who's picking the songs?
Me, Shelby Singleton, and my producer.
And who's your producer?
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith. Also an anonymous name.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Your
of...
voice on duets from Jerry Lewis.
Oh, yes.
Of course so.
Yeah.
You dubbed it in, eh?
Yeah. Overdubbed it.
You overdubbed it, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me sign this.
It's a good record anyway, but
Thank you.
why dub a thing like that? And why put no name on it originally?
Why wear a mask? Why do anything?
Yeah.
You know, it was Because most people think that I sound a lot like someone else. Shelby Singleton came up with the idea that we would do a duet with Jerry Lee Lewis and put it out with no name on it because it would probably get more airplay without the name on it than it would when I'm starting off like I was with the name on it. And it did just that. It got the ball rolling. It got a lot of people knowing about us. It went to the top 20 in the United States. And so our theory was if they would play that record without a name on it and play that voice without the name on it,
they just suggested that it was Elvis.
Then they would have to come back and play it with the name on it.
Can you tell me something about your musicians?
On the record or
on the record?
I use studio musicians.
Different ones every time?
No, usually the same ones, but we have different pickers come in sometimes.
Can you tell any names?
Gosh, not really.
That's also a secret.
Why not?
Can you tell us anything that's not a secret? You probably like Holland.
Yeah, I like Holland. Yeah, I enjoyed shopping in Holland. I enjoyed the people. I hope they enjoyed me.
Yes, I did anyway, and I think a lot of people did.
Oh, good. That's the main thing.
Are there any plans for a new record?
Yeah, we've got a new album coming out in probably a month, and it's all original material.
And can you tell any titles? Can you give any titles?
Yeah,
songs?
Born to Be in Love with You is the name of one song. It Ain't No Good is one song. Some You Win and Some You Lose.
Well, what music do you prefer, ballads or up-tempo?
Either one if the song fits me. It doesn't matter.
What are you going to do after tonight?
Well, we're going to bed for the first thing I'm going to do, and tomorrow we're going to Belgium. Do a show in Belgium, and then Monday we're flying back to the States.
Are you going to do live appearances in the States?
Oh yeah, we travel about 4 or 5 days a week.
Do you do any television shows?
1 or 2.
Just as a guest or as a Orions show?
As a guest, just as talk shows and something like that.
Do you know anybody of the Presley estate?
No, I don't.
So you don't know what they think about you?
No.
Or your voice?
The fans are what count.
Okay. Well, thank you for this interview.
Everybody is what counts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Listening to a whippoorwill at twilight, skinny dipping in the old quarry hole, camping out underneath the full moon, cashing bottles at the store for a cold. Mama taking me to church every Sunday, eating green persimmons with a frown, smelling white magnolia blossoms, walking through new plowed ground. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories keep coming back to me. Tupelo in the early spring. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories. Picking blackberries in the sunshine, going fishing with my bait in a can, playing ball with a sack for home plate, singing in my first little band, riding in the back of Daddy's pickup, listening to the opera in the dark, wishing I could ride a freight train, dreaming I'd become a star. For those sweet Mississippi memories keep coming back to me. Yeah, Mama's love meant so much to me. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories. those sweet Mississippi memories, how they keep coming back to me. My first kiss on that front porch swing. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories, how they keep coming back to me. My first guitar and those hymns I sing. Oh, those sweet Mississippi memories.
Okay, that was the interview from 1981 with Orion. Now, I hope everybody noticed how mysterious he was at points of this interview. Now, I believe that the first few years of Orion's career, they were trying to show us the truth with this music and all the mysteries surrounding Orion, that Elvis really did not die. Now, the music continued this way for 20 years. From 1978 and 79, the first album that was released as Orion, until 1998. Now, at one point of the career of Orion, he took off the mask and he revealed the man behind the mask, and this was Jimmy Ellis. And at that time, he vowed that he would never put the mask back on. And he continued to release music for a time without the mask. But eventually, a few years went on and he put the mask back on. Now, I believe that at the time of Orion's career, when he was doing the shows wearing the mask, this provided Elvis a way to, if he ever wanted to go on stage and do a show, or maybe just a couple of songs, that he could go out and do this as Orion. Now in 1998, Jimmy Ellis and his ex-wife was murdered in Jimmy's pawn shop. And I believe that this was a great loss to the world. I also believe it may be possible that there was more to the story than what the media told us. I believe when the time came for the truth to be known that Elvis is alive, I believe Jimmy Ellis most likely would have been the man to tell us the truth. I believe he would have told us that yes, Elvis was the one singing on all these records, all this music that was released as Orion. And I also believe that Elvis was still an active federal agent at this time, and he probably did some investigating to see if there was more to the story, or what really happened. But I believe Jimmy Ellis was a great man. He loved this music so much that he spent his life providing the world, providing Elvis fans with a way to put out new music. I believe he practiced all the time at lip syncing and performing. So I believe Jimmy Ellis he did a whole lot for the fans, for Elvis Presley. I believe, Jimmy, you will be loved and missed by many fans, many people. And I want to say thank you for all you did. The world suffered a great loss with the death of Jimmy Ellis, but this did not stop the music from continuing. Now in 1998, Elvis had already released the first of 3 CDs using the name Jim the King Brown, and this first CD was titled Gravelands. Now I believe that this music from these CDs went unnoticed by most people in the world until the year 2009, when they released the movie Lonely Street that I showed you in part 1. Now, they used the same name in Lonely Street, Jim the King Brown, as they did on these first 3 CDs from 1998 to 2005. And I'm going to show you a little bit of this music from these CDs. But before I do that, I want to show you some material that started to come out in 2002. In 2002, a new CD came out. Now this was offered on TV, and it was a 3 CD set. Now the CD was called Continued, and this provided new music, and also came a new name, and a new man that went out and performed and lip synced to this music. It also provided a new investigation led by a news team in Las Vegas. And they did the computer voice analyst test on this music. And this time the results came back and they told us that it was the one and only Elvis Presley. It was an exact match. That Elvis was the one singing on this CD and this music from the Continued collection. So here it is, a little bit of this material from Continued from 2002.
Yesterday,
Everybody loves Elvis Presley.
all my troubles seem
Everybody loves these songs.
going back to Graceland, Graceland.
Fall in love with Elvis all over again.
Would you know my name?
Continued by legendary recording artist Doug Church gives you over 40 of today's most popular hits, sung Elvis style.
Goodbye, England's road.
It's like Elvis is back, singing songs from today.
It's incredible.
I love these songs.
But wait, there's more. Call in the next 10 minutes for this exclusive TV offer and you get a free bonus CD, King Country.
My achy, breaky heart.
It's today's best country hits, recorded Elvis style.
My exes living.
You get all 3 CDs for just $19.95. Satisfaction is guaranteed. Call now for this limited time offer and get your free bonus CD. Call 1-800-961-5318. That's 1-800-961-5318. Do it now.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. Lord, I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA. There's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Oh, I'm proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the folks who died who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love my land. God bless the USA.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You were the grace that placed itself where lives were torn apart. You called out to our country, and you whispered to those in pain. Now you belong to heaven, and the stars spell out your name. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in. And your footsteps will always fall here along England's greatest hills. Your candles burned out long before your legend ever will. Loveliness we've lost, these empty days without your smile. This torch we'll always carry for our nation's golden child. And even though we try, the truth that brings us all to tears, all our words cannot express the joy you brought us through the years. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never fading with the sunset when the rain set in.